You know, like I remember, I mean, because I would always have after parties coming home from like the strip club and shit. And I'd have a bunch of I trained a bunch of the girls. So they'd all be hanging out at the house. And, you know, somebody, and these guys would show up that already had like records with like, you know, artists, you know. And so they would come and start freestyling. And I'd be like, oh, you think you can rap? Watch this. And I'd be like, son. And I'm like, son, get up. He's like, what the hell? He's like, I got school in the morning. I'm like, fuck school, man. See, you don't give a fuck about school. Come on, let's go. And he's like, all right, come on. And I'm like, you ready to beat ass? He's like, come on, Dad, let's go. And bro, he'd be walking down the stairs, literally like wiping like this, and then and just be like, ah, and just fuck him up, bro. And he'd fuck him up so bad, like some of the dudes would just get like, want to fight him. I was like, son, say whatever the fuck you want to say, because if he lifts her hands up, this whole kitchen is gonna stomp a hole in this motherfucker.
Carlos Moreno, a.k.a. Chuck, a.k.a. Pop, a.k.a. Mexican O.T.'s dad. Me and Chuck have been friends for about a year now.
Yes, sir.
We met through circumstances, and I love this dude. We hit it off immediately. We're both into fitness. Chuck's always out there just doing random, crazy entrepreneurial type stuff. So we're kindred spirits in a lot of ways. So thank you for coming on. I'm really happy to have you on.
Salud, brother. Man, thank you guys. It's a pleasure to be here. Really excited, you know, just to be able to chop it up with you, and then, you know, just play with this and just see how it runs.
What's going on, dude?
Man, relaxing, enjoying the day.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, it's viral everywhere. So let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. What's going on with your son? And can you talk about it? Let's go.
Yeah, man. You know, my son, he's a wise young man. He's never been malicious. Definitely not prejudiced in any form or matter or form or fashion. You know, I guess people just fear themselves at times, and you know, he realizes that he's that we're all equal. Yeah. You know, and he knows that, you know, ever since he was young, I was like, man, tough guys get beat the fuck up. Be brilliant. I like know, and you know, he's brilliant. I think he'll recover well from this, because nothing that he said was malicious or ill-intended to anybody intentionally. You know, people are always going to run with things, and however they're going to run with it and try to, you know, people use everything to be catapults to either be negative or positive, you know, and it just goes different ways at times, you know. It's balance. When
did he come onto the scene? Like really come onto the scene?
I would say around 2020. For me, you know, but I mean, I'm my son's biggest fan. Right. So in 2020, I remember I had just gotten back home. They had sent me on a violation. I did 411 days. I really hadn't seen my son, and I hadn't talked to him in just over a year. And I talked to him on the phone. I was calling my family, and, you know, I could hear the excitement in his voice of, you know, saying, Dad. And I was like, man, I'm just as happy, man, you know. Like only a father can understand the feeling it gets when you hear your son or your kid just joyfully, just being joyful about actually hearing from you.
Like, I did it.
Yeah,
I did it, and he went viral while you were still in jail.
No, so I'm just saying he was just happy to hear from me. So at this point, and this was like 2019, so my son said, Dad, I'm just did my first video. Man, right at that moment, I started telling everybody my son's going to be an international superstar.
Yeah.
Like, no bullshit. And then when I got home in 2020, I was like, I remember it would just be me and my homeboys at my son's shows.
Yeah.
Me and my homeboys, you know, my friends, and, you know, crowd of 20 people just at his shows, you know, and then it just watching how fast it just caught fire, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to get into your journey and, you know, whatever we can get into, but I can just imagine you in that moment. Like, What did that feel like to know, like, oh, fuck, I'm in here and my son's out there and he's going fucking, he's blown up.
Oh man, no, I was home. I just did a year, so I was home.
Okay.
I was home in 2020.
Oh, so you were home. Okay.
So I was there. I witnessed it all since the beginning. But at that time, we had just communicated after like almost a year and a half of really not communicating very much. You know, at that age, you know, the hardest thing it is for a parent to hear, but yet it is the best reward a parent could ever receive, is when your kid says, "Dad, I don't need you. I don't need your help." Like, and you know, when initially it stung, because I'm like, hey, I'm your teammate. I'm here for you. But then you're like, oh, he got to, you know?
And you got to let go of the reins.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Let him go.
You know?
I can imagine.
You know, not to get off topic, but this is, you know, about being a parent. So I remember I was doing a 3-year project in Exxon in Baytown. This is like 2017. Yeah, 2017. Maybe 2018. My ex calls me and she's like, "Hey, Virgil just, we got into a big argument. He just ran away." I was like, "All right, I'll be there in the morning." So I shoot back from Baytown to Austin, come back. We pack his bag, get his debit card and everything, pick him up from school, and take him to dinner. And I was like, "You know what, son? Everything in me wants me to tell you you can't leave. But this is the very first executive decision you've ever made as a young man." Because every time I ask him, "Son, what do you want to watch?" "I don't know, Dad, whatever you want to watch." "Son, what do you want to eat?" "I don't know, Dad, whatever you want to eat." "Where you want to go?" "I don't know, wherever you want to go." And this is the first time in his life he ever was like, "You know what, this is what the fuck I'm going to do." I was like, who am I to stop that? You know, and I fucking let him go. I gave him his debit card and I gave him a hug and I said, "Man, I'll always have an extra bedroom for you."
Yeah.
So it'll always be a revolving door. And man, that motherfucker never looked back.
Yeah. How old was he at the time?
17, turning 18.
17.
18 years old.
18. Yeah.
And
that's something right there, because, you know, even me, I have a 15-year-old daughter that'll be 16 here in a couple months, and I have a 13-year-old daughter. And I remember there was a certain point when, you know, they were younger, and I realized as they started to develop their personality and they start to come into their own, who they are, who they're going to be. Because when they're really little, you don't really know what kind of personality they're going to have yet. You have an idea, but you don't really know until they start to get into their teenage years and they like really start to hone who they are. And I remember at one point looking at them, and I'm like, it was kind of the first point in my life where I realized it's not about me anymore as a parent. Like spotlight's not on me. The world doesn't revolve around me. I need to be focusing on my kid and realizing that the spotlight's around them, and I'm here to protect them, and I'm here to teach them, and the best I can, you know. So I can imagine. I can't imagine what it's like for somebody like you. You're raising a son, and you know, we'll go through your life. I really want to focus on your life mostly in this podcast, but I can't imagine what it's like to have a kid that becomes a viral sensation and a superstar rapper.
You know, brother, like people always ask me or say, you know, you must be proud. And you know what? Like, of his success, I really just expected it. Like none of that surprises me on the success side. So that's not what I'm proud of. What I'm proud of is how well he handles the success. Because he's under a tremendous amount of pressure constantly. He makes this shit look pretty easy, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and he's not always going to make or say the right things, but I can vouch for, you know, because ever since he was young, and I tell everybody that I encounter, man, just let your foundation in life be a good human being, because good people win.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Well, he's still a kid.
Bro, he's 26, bro. He's still in puberty. You dig?
Yeah.
You know, bro, he's still learning. Everything is trial and error in life, you know? And we're going to fuck up all the time. People are going to fuck up all the time. But it's what you do in your recovery of your fuck up. because people are going to always make mistakes. You know, nobody's perfect. Nobody's, you know, everybody's. I mean, if somebody tries to say they're unblemished, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Nobody's that perfect.
And what's that like? Like, especially in the rap industry, it's like, you know, we talked about it earlier, but you know, it's an industry where people are constantly checking each other, right?
And you know, I always tell my son, man, son, kings never argue with pawns. You know, and the greatest leaders in the world make everybody feel equal. You know, you should never have somebody looking up to you. They should be looking at you.
Yeah. But what's that like to defend your son in an industry where it's like you're constantly under a microscope?
Bro, I everybody's touchable.
Mm-hmm.
So if you live your life like everybody's touchable, then you'll stay in a lane that you can handle. You know, I did all those years in prison. I stayed solo the whole time. It was hard at times and it was easy at times. But, you know, like I would tell them with todos respetos, you know, I just don't have enough time to get in your gang, but, or be affiliated with anything. I didn't want to be associated with anybody because I felt like, I really honestly feel like I'm better than everybody else.
How hard is that to stay by yourself in there?
You know what? I feel comfortable with myself. So I would get an ace every place I was at. And when I say an ace, I mean somebody I'd work out with, spread with, you know, chop it up with, you know, talk to, you know.
What's an ace?
Just something, you know, somebody that one homeboy that you kick it with. Like, that's my ace right now, you know. So it's just, you know, just somebody that you can actually be able to let your guard down a little bit with. Because, you know, in places like that, if anybody sees any type of fracture in your infrastructure, you got 2,000 wolves coming. And everybody's a wolf in sheep clothing. Everybody's coming with a smile, like they're your best friend. They love you. But they're only just trying to see how much they can get from you. And, you know, I'm a firm believer that people only do what you allow them to get away with. So, you know what? People ever try with me? Not a fucking thing, because I'm not going to give you no wiggle room.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to hold you accountable, and I expect you to hold me accountable. And if you don't hold me accountable, I'm going to walk all over you, and I'm going to cut every corner, and I'm going to take every shortcut I can on you.
I guess that's the mentality you got to have.
You know,
how many days, years in total would you say you spent in there?
7.
7 altogether.
Mm-hmm.
It was at multiple stints.
That was just 2. Yeah.
2 stints.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the second was I caught a case in prison. And they were like, so I had, you know, I just got back from a visit. My grandmother and my mom had come to visit me. And I remember my uncle was on like his deathbed. And so I told my mom, you know, back then people weren't just carrying cell phones everywhere. I think this was like around 2004. And so people didn't just carry cell phones normally.
We had pagers back then.
Yeah. You know, it wasn't just the norm. Like it wasn't, you don't, it's not like today where you know everybody has a phone on them.
Yeah.
You know? And so I remember I told my mom, I was like, well, look, I'm going to get my phone. I'm going to call you because I wanted to, you know, because the last time that I interacted with my uncle, it wasn't the best, you know? And I wanted to be able to apologize to him. I love him. You know, because he was dying. Like he passed away within 24 hours of that. But so I pulled out my phones and I come back from business. And I told one of my partners, I was like, man, come on, let's go. We'll just go smoke. So I just got a QP of some draw, and I pulled out my 2 phones. I was charging them, and dude. So a lieutenant in the CO5 was like, Mr. Moreno. And they said, Mr. Garrison, you're out of place. And he said, Mr. Moreno. I was like, fuck. I told him, I was like, don't let these motherfuckers in here. Because, you know, the gates open like that. You know, like old school red brick. It was red brick. We're at Darrington. And, man, so he put his arms through the gate so they couldn't open, and I started flushing everything. I'm flushed the QP, flushed the 2 cell phones down, and by then he hits the arms, comes in. Back then, you know, the chargers were big and the phones were little. Remember?
Yeah, they were real thin, the razors.
Yeah, I had 2 razors, so the phones were gone.
Yeah.
But the fucking chargers were like
they were stuck in the toilet. You flushed them down the toilet?
Yeah.
That's bad.
And fucking so he's like, phone, and we're hitting them, trying to get them off me, man. They hit me with the whole can of spray. By the way, that pepper spray is no fucking joke. That shit burned for like 30 days, bro. And I'll get to that later, but so I'm running out, and man, dude, it's a big ass white dude. We call him Strawberry because he had a big strawberry birthmark on his face. But he was just a whole ass lieutenant, man. He was always he was just always fucking with me. And, I would go out of my way I'd walk separate from people. Yeah, I didn't want to be associated with anybody. You dig? I didn't want that type. But
did people respect that in there?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody respected me. But I also freely respect people. But when you freely respect people, it also gives you the right to demand it. And either leave it or demand it. And if you're not going to give it to me, I'll try to walk away.
Right.
Like I'll never, dude. You're not going to ever see me start confrontation with anybody, bro.
But so I've never been in there, so I only know what I glean from people outside that have been in there. What is it like? You're walking through the gates, day one.
Terrifying.
Look, I mean, because I'm
trained. I can walk through any alley with my eyes closed, and if somebody touches me, I got you.
Yeah.
If I put my hands on you, I got you. I'm comfortable with that. But what's so terrifying is the unknown. So when you're handcuffed to because you're handcuffed to somebody everywhere, right?
Oh, you got like a buddy. You got to be.
Yeah. So if you piss, he's pissing with you. If you're shitting, he's shitting with you. You're handcuffed to him. There's no separation. And man, the scariest part was always going in through those, like you're going. Because I was all high security units. So minimum was just 1 gate. I'm going through 3 gates every time. And because I was considered a violent offender. So the scariest part was always going in and not knowing what's going on. I mean, there could be race riots. There could be, you don't know what's going on. And by the time you get through that first crash gate, you get naked, get dressed, they take you in, you're going through your little, it's like the holding pen, the bullpen, and they just throw everybody in here. And as you're, one by one, you're going through UCC, unit classifications. And, man, people are hitting you up from everywhere. Like Mexicans, once you're Mexican, all the Mexicans come to see who you're from, where you represent. They want to know everything, and they know everything about you. By the time you get to population, everybody knows you. It's there's no hiding in there. Like I mean, we can even pop our own doors. Like, fucking, you're not gonna hide, bro. That's why you don't make mistakes. I'm 50 years old, and not one single time have I ever had to call any of my homeboys and say, "Hey, bro, I need you to come get my back," because I'm not gonna put myself in shit I can't get myself out of. Yeah, I just want to build bridges everywhere, bro. That's it.
You look good for 50, dude.
I feel good for 50.
I was telling you, last time we saw each other was about a year ago. You look younger than you did a year ago.
I feel younger than I did a year ago.
Yeah. What's your morning diet again, you were saying?
Oh, I eat either a pound of ground bison or ground beef with like 10 eggs and a full stick of beef chorizo. And, man, I try to squeeze in a pound of brisket every day.
Yeah. You text me every now and then. So the funniest thing about Chuck is Chuck will text me randomly throughout the year. And one time he texted me and he's like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" And I was like, "What's up, Chuck?" And he's like, "I got this badass brisket smoking on the grill." And then I'm like, "Oh, that's sweet. Am I going to get an invitation or what is?" And he never responded back. I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like,
that means coming, goddammit.
I'm like, "Why are you just to flex on me that you got this badass brisket and then just like leave me hanging?"
Probably was smoking and I got sidetracked, goddammit.
A cool thing about Chuck though is Chuck will just like randomly does Happy Thanksgiving, Happy, Merry Christmas, which is very cool. I mean, it shows a side to you that very sincere that you're reaching out to friends,
Bro,
even
I
ones
love
that you
people,
don't.
bro. I love people. And you know what? Like the best investment somebody can make outside of themselves is just in people, you know, because people will save your lives. You know, I just feel like I may have an opportunity to change your life or you may change mine. So why not roll this dice?
Well, regardless too, we're, for whatever reason, our paths crossed.
Yes, sir.
You know, and think about that. In a lifetime, you only have so many people that cross. There's a finite number of people that you're going to cross paths with in a lifetime, whether it's 200 or 2,000 or whatever, 20,000. You're going to cross paths with a certain number of people that you connect with for whatever reason you're connecting. For some reason, your lifelines are connecting in that moment. You don't know why, but they were put there for a reason. If you believe in that kind of stuff.
Man, so I'm super intuitive, brother. Like a lot of times I'll be speaking, don't even realize what I'm saying because my spirit just takes over. And I've been like that my whole life. My son really is gifted as well, the same way.
What does that mean? Can you explain that?
Yeah, man, I just understand people very well. And
but what do you mean when you say your spirit takes over?
Just sometimes I give people messages that they needed to hear, and I didn't even know what shit was going on in their life. You know, it happens a lot with fans. So, you know, like a lot of times, I'm not the type of person that would ever say I'm overstimulated. But what happens to me when I do become overstimulated, I get grumpy, you know, I'm kind of like get super aggressive. I overstimulate different people have panic attacks and I get aggressive.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's from too much brisket.
Yeah, baby. Hey, bro, bring me more. Shit.
So let's go back. Tell me about where you're from, where it all started.
I'm originally from Bay City, Texas, man. We represented Houston now, but we're just like a little country town. There's like 16,000 people growing up.
Just a little country town, 16,000.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't really have anything. You know, I grew a rancher my whole life.
Yeah, I noticed that with Mexican O.T. and the being flipped by a bull.
Yes, sir. Man, and you know, he never complained one bit about that. Like, you know, he had a bruise on his stomach, but he never was like, fuck my leg or nothing. It was just.
Now, how did he get into the ring? Did he have to
so we were originally there and he was just coaching it was a red team, blue team for bullfighters. So rodeo clowns don't like to be called clowns because they're like, we fucking fight bulls. We're not fucking clowns. We're bullfighters. So that's what they're bullfighters. So these guys are so athletic. They make this shit look easy.
Oh, I know. And they all have a great sense of humor, too. It's not just,
great. Bro, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, why are you doing it?
Yeah. For anybody listening that's never been to a Texas rodeo, you have to. I mean, these guys travel to different states, but something about these Texas rodeos, you think the bull riders are impressive? Wait till you see these fucking rodeo clowns.
Dude, they're crazy, bro. Like, just like doing Air Jordan jumps over them, hitting them with these rings. So they have to ring it's like a kind of like a small hula hoop. Yeah. And they're like you get the points for putting the ring on the head of the bull. Yeah. While he's trying to run you over. And man, these guys were just making it look so easy. My son was
they're making the whole crowd crack up the whole time too.
Yeah,
you know,
bro. Yeah, it's super entertaining. It's like the Harlem Globetrotters fighting bulls. It's basically what it is.
That's a great analogy. Take me back to start at high school,
dude. Play sports year round since as far back as I can remember. I remember from going from one practice to boxing practice to just different practices going back to back. I remember some days even just wanting to cry because it was like so much work where you just do it, you know? It just was the thing to do. I remember taking pride in never missing school. And I was not the best student. Like, dude, I was not a good student at all. But I was never a disrespectful kid. Like, I disrespected my mother like once in my life, bro.
And you learned your lesson.
No, my glasses flew across the room. My dad just jacked me. Wow. And like, dude, I'm way bigger than my dad, but I'm like, I respect them. And I had a healthy fear of my parents. You know, they did not play. Like, I remember getting in trouble and whoever snitched got in trouble. My grandmother. she was like, "No, the tattletale got to go."
What did your parents do for a living?
Man, my mom and dad both retired from the South Texas Nuclear Project. Yeah. So my dad was a welder, so he owned his own welding company his whole life, or my whole life, and my mom retired as she was some admin, but she was all over the place. My mom's a boss. You know, I used to think I got my work ethic from my dad, but my mom was work circles around everybody. Yeah. She'd go to work with him all day, come home, cook dinner, do laundry. I mean, creased everything, bro. I've been treated like royalty since I was a kid, so that's why I treat everybody like royalty, you know?
I like that. Yeah.
And, you know, like I touched on it earlier with you about they just did the whole Ancestry.com and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And so my mom and my aunt, they just got indicted or accepted to the Apache tribe thing out of California. And they're like 53 or 56%. But that we're direct through my grandmother and grandfather, somehow their cousins married or something. But we're direct descendants 2 times from Geronimo.
So you're a direct descendant of Geronimo.
Like fucking straight blood.
Whoa.
It's a fucking flex for me.
That's a fucking flex.
Yeah.
Do you know the history of Geronimo?
Not as much as I'm going to indulge myself with now, because I'm a huge history nerd. But now that it's more personal, I'm definitely gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to my other grandmother. So I thought we were Toltec and Apache, but we come to find out we're just Apache. I knew I was Indian because my grandfather was straight in. Like at 98, he was losing wrinkles, jet black hair when he died.
No shit.
Yeah, he was forced to retire at 86 because when he was 83, he roped a bull, and we were pinning some bulls to brand them, horn them, all that, and so the bull turned around, horned his horse. His horse reared up, fell on him, broke his leg, and then the bull was mauling him when we got the bull off of him, and it broke his femur. So at 83, 84, 85, 86. He just wasn't mobile. Just after that leg injury at that age, you're just not going to recover the same.
Yeah, true.
You know, and my grandfather was a G, bro. You know, he got Cowboy of the Decade. When it comes to cattle, because people don't realize, like, the original cowboys are really Mexican caballeros, you know, and like they're the ones who taught Europeans how to be fucking cowboys. You dig? You know, and all these, you know, everybody wants to take different credits, but even like the gold teeth, silver teeth, Aztecs, Mayans, we've been doing that for centuries. The braids in the hair, we've been doing that for centuries, bro. You know, just different cultures pick it up. We share with everybody. We don't care that you claim it. We don't care about, you know the most genocidal culture in the history of humanity is the Native American Indian. But you know why nobody talks about it? Because then the United States would have to admit they fucking genocided more people than Hitler and Genghis Khan. Almost together.
Damn.
It's a lot of people.
That's a lot of fucking people.
You know. And the Mormons killed a lot of us just for fun. Yeah. They would go with their Gatling guns, and like the warriors wouldn't even be there. The warriors would be out hunting. And it would just be old men, ladies, and children. They'd just gun them down.
No.
Yeah.
Speaking of grill, I was kind of hoping you would bring me a grill. My first grill today. Those look good. I like that.
Man, I lost my opal and diamond ones, but I got these now.
Those are nice. All right. So fast forward after high school, what happened?
Took off life. You know, I went to school, was going to college in Waco. Just not really focusing, you know. Ended up getting, you know, and in the summer. So I remember fresh out of high school, I was sent to go work with my uncle, and I'm outside of like Long John Silver's in high school. I worked at Long John's for a little bit, and Kmart.
Is Long John still around?
I think so. And I think Round Rock has a Long John's, right?
No.
79, yeah.
I haven't seen one in a long time. You should see those everywhere,
bro. It's not. I mean, I fuck with long johns. Shit,
I love long johns,
dude, especially that little crunch shit. Oh my fuck. But yeah, no, man. I was outside of those 2 little jobs because I was always playing sports, and I would only work like 1 day out of the month, you know, because I was always sports, and so it was my first, fresh out of high school. And initially I was like, man, I wanted to go to the military so bad, man. My parents talked me out. They're like, just go to college. Because at that time, Desert Storm and all that, and all my homeboys are going. I'm like, fuck, bro. You know, I wanted to go so bad, man. And like, you know, I don't fuck. I don't have regrets, but that's one regret is I feel like I would have been a badass soldier. You didn't?
I can see it.
Yeah, but anyway, everything happens the way it's supposed to. You know, and like no regrets.
Yeah, you had a different,
no
you had a
regret.
different path that was set in front of you.
I mean, ever since I was like 7 years old, I remember Evangelist spoke life over me. I remember because my left leg was a little shorter than my right leg, and they went and prayed and like pulled on my leg and
really,
yeah, no bullshit, bro.
No shit.
And I had back issues before then. My legs all my back issues left. That man told my family that this young man's going to be ruling nations one day. Like, fuck. I was like, man. And
who is that guy?
Some evangelist that came to the church that we were at in Markham, Texas. And that was even smaller town. So they didn't even have a light in this town. It was just a stop sign.
How would he get an impression on you? What was that? Does he have a gift?
Yeah, he was intuitive, you know, and I remember, man, I had just in every position in my life, I've always had leadership. So it took me a long time to realize who I was. You did,
yeah,
because you have all these insecurities. You have, you know, like some of my best friends were my best bullies, bro.
Yeah,
you know, like I remember. Because I went to a private school growing up in elementary. My mom was a teacher, so it was pretty protected, right? And then you go to this public school where it's just in the 80s and it's just fucking insane. And I remember getting, you know, and I just wanted to, I remember being my brother and sister would be sick and I'll just stand by their bedside and cry for them because I knew they were in pain. Because remember I say I'm intuitive. So when I say intuitive, brother, I'm an empath. I can feel you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can feel your energy. That's why my energy is so big. Like sometimes my spirit feels so big that my flesh feels too small for it.
Damn.
Feel like I'm busting out of it.
When did you start to notice those? Like,
you know, I think my whole life you kind of just know things, right?
Yeah.
You know, and like my son's whole life, like I used to tell him ever since he was born. So, as soon as he could hear, I was like, "Do you even realize the nuts you fell out of? Like you were born to be great." You know, like my best advice to any parent or adult who interacts with any kind of kid. Speak life into that individual constantly, stroke their ego, give them a reason to believe in themselves. As soon as my son could do this, I was like, all right, you push that chair over there, you get that cup, I'm going to get the milk, we're going to do it together because I'm not going to do it for you. You know?
So parenting, you saw your son at an early age. At what point did you realize he had a gift?
At my 4 or 5 years old, he was already an entertainer, you know, like that's all he wanted. Like every single person he come up, can I rap for you? Can I rap for you? Can I
really?
rap for you? Can I rap
4 or
for you?
5?
Started at that age. And I remember he'd come see me in prison and he would every time he'd come see me, bro, and he'd be like, look, Dad, and he'd do his push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and, you know, start working out for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I would do little generic beats for him or like hooks. Just to get him, and like really for the 2-hour visit, he would just rap for me every single time.
You guys got 2 hours? 2-hour visits?
2-hour visits.
Damn.
And man, it was like heartbreaking. I remember one day he come to see me, and you know, because you can get $20 in quarters to buy a bunch of trash that TDC sells you. And I remember he went to the jailer or to my guard, and he was like trying to give him the money, see if I can come home.
Nah.
Man, it's fucking You know, it fucks you up, bro.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know, and that, you know, because when you get up, like for those 2 hours, you're away from the chaos, right?
Mm.
And you'll be able to focus on just relaxing and being loved. And, you know, because, you know, over here, don't nobody give a fuck about you, bro. Just because they're smiling in your face doesn't mean they fucking give a fuck about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Remember, you're rapist, murder, and, you know, all of these people, remember, I'm all high security. So all of these people aren't just drug offenders.
Yeah.
These are all murderers, rapists, fucking, like, bro, like, I mean, I had my neighbor, bro, then there was some savages. So you got to be just as savage.
Can you talk? What's the craziest thing you saw in there?
Shit. I mean, I've seen two guys, like, you're trying to hurry up and shower because you know they're over here fighting and they're about to come gas this bitch, so you need to get out of here before they come spray. You know, so I'm trying to hurry up and shower. These two dudes, they got a knife in one hand and a beak on the other. And they're just—
What's that? A beak?
A pico. So pico is just like a long, like a pick, ice pick.
Oh, okay.
So ice pick and a knife. Homemade, bro. Bro, don't say how,
right,
because you have
keep
everything,
going.
bro. I mean, I seen a motherfucker with a lawnmower blade cut on, and it's fucking a hole wrapped around, and what they'll do is they go hiding in the ant piles.
In the ant piles?
Yeah. Yeah, I see these two guys of blood in a crypt. They're over there going at it, bro. And they're butt-ass naked, fighting. It's hard as fuck. And you're trying to hurry up and shower before they come gas this bitch because you know they're about to gas. And then you see our boy running down the hallway trying to hold his guts in, and they're like falling. Oh, fuck. It's crazy. I seen this man, he was a big old black dude, about 6'6", 6'8". I mean, easy 300, yoked up. And it's like 20 little Mexicans on his ass, bro.
Oh, no.
And I guess he had been snitching. They told him, like, look, if you're going to keep snitching, like, we're going to get you out of here. And so this was when I had just got out of SEG. I just did 2.5 years in SEG and got out. And I hit French Robinson. So Rockin' Robinson, we go over there. It's like 4 tiers.
What is that? Rockin' Robinson.
And it's rock and roll. When you get there, you already know when you get there, you're gonna fight as soon as you get there. Like as soon as you get there,
is that the name of the?
Now it's Robinson unit, but we call it Rockin' Robin and Rockin' D. Rockin' Darrington was, and when I was there in the early 2000s, there were people dying. Like you would smell like rust all the time. It's just blood. I seen motherfucker with their neck cut and just slumped with blood just piled up. You just step over the blood when you go to chow.
Jeez, fuck, dude.
By the time they get up to the stretcher, their bodies are still like this, where they're laying on the bed, just still stiff.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
How long did you have to spend over there?
I did 3 years on that unit, and then I got segged, and they sent me to Cofield, and I did.
You did 3 years at a unit where that was a daily occurrence.
Oh yeah.
How the fuck did you stay alive?
In medium, cause I got stabbed a couple of times. Bro, you're just savage. You're fucking savage, bro. Like when I got home, my 6 senses were so in tune, bro. I could imagine. I could tell how close you were to me with my eyes closed.
It's like being in Fallujah for 3 fucking years.
Bro, it's like, yeah, because you got wild animals constantly hunting you, right?
Every morning, close quarters.
Yeah.
You're all in the same building.
So, yeah, bro, there's no hiding. There's no hiding.
You can't go back to base and protect, like,
there's
relax.
No hiding, bro.
It's like, it's constant.
Listen, that's why I tell everybody like this, bro. Like, man, I was super savage. Like, everybody thought I was insane when I got home.
Yeah.
But I was and really, I just wanted to help everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be running up to help an old lady. She's like, oh, no, Robert. I'm like, no, I just want to help you with your groceries. Like, dude, I was just so happy to be home. I wanted to help everybody.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be a reason why nobody ever gets in trouble.
When you got out, did you deal with any, like, PTSD?
Fuck, yeah. I was completely insane. I remember my ex would be like, Daddy, what do you want to go eat? And I fucking freak out and go stand in the bathroom for an hour because that was my comfort zone, the confined space. And I was like, this is fucking insane. I'll be sitting
How
there
long did that last?
Myself.
How long after you got out?
Well, my best friends told me after about 4 years, they were like, man, it's good to finally have you home. I was like, what the fuck?
4 years.
Yeah, it took me about 4 years to just really acclimate,
That's interesting because when I left the military, it took me about 3 years until I started to remember who I was.
That's with therapy, bro. Like, you forget who you are because all you're savage. Like, bro, like, my reaction, like I take pride in never arguing with a man. I'll fucking hit you before I argue with you. And like if you take it to the point where I'm gonna raise my voice, I probably will slap you. And I'm notorious for that. Like I slap motherfuckers. If you disrespect me, especially because I'll submit and be like, forgive me for whatever I did to offend you, please forgive me. You know, I'll try to verbally reprimand everything. But man, I just remember people only do what you allow them to get away with. And I'm not gonna don't allow me to get away with it, but I'm never gonna be disrespectful to anybody. It never makes me feel good to make you feel bad.
Right.
I've never been that dude. Ever.
Yeah.
You know, like my grandfather, I remember my grandfather, man, he was like my hero growing up. And I used to think that he was disappointed in me because like I wasn't, like I have tons of fucking, remember they had 8 kids and all of my uncles, all my aunts had fucking tons of kids. So I got like 7, 8, 9 boy cousins that are all just around my same age. So every holiday, because my family come from a close-knit family, we did everything together. And they would always make us box. And I never wanted to hit my cousins and hurt them. You know, although I knew I could, I never wanted to, you know what I'm saying? Like I'd be submissive. And, you know, I remember my uncles would clown me for that shit. And I'll be like, man, I'm a killer. Shit. But I just want to be kind, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to be kind to everybody. And like my first heartbreak wasn't even a woman. It was realizing my homeboys weren't as loyal as I am, you know? Because like,
I know exactly what you mean there.
You know, and that was heartbreaking for me. Like my best friend's like, he's on his 30th year in prison right now. My other best friend, it was his brother. He's dead. He got killed a year before I got out on a motorcycle accident.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And, you know, like all of my homeboys, like people were really dying in the 90s, you know, like people were really dying like over nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, you take that tradition. That's why when I moved to Austin in like 95, dude, I was like, everybody's just nice. Everybody just wants to be nice. Bro, I'd go home and my homies be like, oh, you done got soft. I was like, no, bro. No. I'm still a killer, bro. I just I can learn that people want to communicate.
Yeah. There's other ways to deal with problems.
Yeah, bro. I just let's just communicate.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like every situation could be verbally talked out as long as both parties are willing to like, let's talk about this.
Dude, I saw a video.
And I'll allow you to be right. If you're angry, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, whatever, you're right.
I saw a video last night. I was just like surfing through Instagram. Some video pops up in Houston. It sounded like a fucking war zone, dude. There was these 2 guys that were in like a grocery parking lot, and the driver's ducking down, and his buddy is like laying down, you know, like behind the rims, and it's like you just hear like da 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 da, and then vehicles like chasing each other, da 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 da, and they're like, you would think this is in like a war zone. Yeah, this is fucking Houston. Like, what the
probably the gallery area? No, like Houston, there's no place like. Man, dude, and you know, okay, look, so I did from 01 to 08, really gangster, right? When I came home, came home from an environment where you look at somebody, it's great, what's up? Yeah. So that was the mentality still. Like, why are you staring at me?
Yeah.
You know, people do it all the time now. And like, so when I first got home, I'd be like, what's up? And they're like, hey man, how you doing? You know, and like the energy was just so completely different. It was like, I
want to talk about that real quick because
it was a culture shock.
That is something. That is a cultural thing.
I was like, why is everything so gay?
Yeah.
Literally. I was like, what the, no offense to anybody or anything, but it's just too much.
But about that, like that specific thing, what do you think it is that like people that come from not minority, but like maybe like middle to lower income communities, when somebody's looking at them for a little bit longer than they're used to, they take it as a threat?
And
is that something that we can like teach them like, hey, you don't have to take everything personal.
So
like
literally, yeah, because you know, I know this guy. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, what's up with you?
Yeah.
Damn.
How many people would be alive if we didn't get offended?
Like, whoa.
Right?
You know, like, so I was at a comedy show yesterday, and you know, they were making the comedian at the time. I thought he was saying some super clever shit, you know, but it was towards, you know, black guys, and this black guy actually started getting offended. He was like, make an Asian joke. And he went right into roasting his own self, Asians, and that were even funnier. But I just don't see why people are so easily offended today. You didn't? Like, I mean, like, think about like Andrew Dice Clay, even Red Fox himself.
He's still doing shit on the streets.
Like, bro, and they're like, I mean, it's pretty, like, that shit's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't have humor and like real shit, like, I mean.
Do you think it's just like young men that are coming into their adult?
Okay.
Do you think it's just that?
Let me ask you, how do you conquer a nation, right? You invade, you kill the men, you kill the boys, you rape the women, you change the culture, right?
Yeah.
Well, the United States said, well, we can't do that. It's illegal now. We made that illegal after we did it to the Indians. So how are we going to take control again? Let's do it chemically. So what they've done in the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years is chemically take the dog out of the fucking man and turn them into bully pit bulls and took the gameness out of them.
How they doing that?
Chemically. All this
what do you mean
fast
chemically?
food, man,
like
bro. All the estrogen. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
When we were kids, we knew who the gay kid was.
Yeah.
One or two of them. But now, bro, for a kid on the numbers that it is, it has to chemically, I mean, what else could it be? I mean, if you look at the testosterone levels of kids today versus to what the kids in the 80s, 50s, you know, I mean, the math doesn't lie there, bro.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I agree.
And, you know,
even in men our age, it's the same thing. If you go get your testosterone checked right now, you are less than half of where your grandfather was.
TRT, so.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I
So
tell
about
everybody.
4 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TRT is not a steroid.
No.
Right? TRT just brings your testosterone where it should be. Okay? So I'll give you an example of myself as an example. When I was 35, I went and got my testosterone checked because I was getting moody. I was lethargic. I didn't want to do anything. No motivation, no drive. Like, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is not me. I don't know what's going on. This is post-military, right? I just like, so I go get my
Felt like the dog
testosterone.
was leaving.
Yeah, I went and got my testosterone checked, and your testosterone scores come back on a scale of 0 to 1,000. Mine was at 360.
That's super low.
360, right? And then you go and you look at where my testosterone should be at my age, right? And it was like 800, 850, somewhere in there, right? At 40 or at 35, I should be like between 800 and 900. Like, I should be up there. So my testosterone was less than half of where it should be. And then I started going down a rabbit hole. Why is my testosterone so low?
Nutrition.
Is everything. Yeah, it's nutrition. There's not as much nutrients in the food we're eating. All this processed food. Everything that, not only that, but like your environment that you're living in, right?
Bro,
the stress levels.
I was going to tell you this. Like, look, so I'm in prison around nothing but testosterone all day. Like, you train so that nobody fucks with you. That's why you train. Right. Like, you want to be like, because predators know who they can prey on. You know, once I make myself felt, and my mentality was like, if I'm gonna go into this cell with this man, your homeboys are gonna have to fucking drag you out of here because you're not walking out of here. And that's the way I went into every situation. But up until then, I was submissive. Please, let's be my friend. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, dude, I got on the TRT. And instantly I felt better.
Bro, it's life-changing.
I felt younger. The thing with testosterone, so like I go once a week and I get a shot. And like when you take testosterone, you take your first shot, it's like a bell curve, right?
Yeah.
So you take it, it takes a couple days, 2 to 3 days till you feel it the most, and then it drops off after about 2 or 3 more days.
For you, the science has to be the catching the drop.
Yeah.
You know,
figuring
like,
out where.
And it's just, I tell everybody, just pay attention to yourself. Like, you know, I mean, even keep a diary, like how you feel, especially like after every meal. So that's what I would do. I was really vigilant with my clients with that, was like, write down your emotion after every meal. Anytime you ingest something, write down how you feel, because food is a huge narrative of your emotions.
So go into that. Talk about your business, what you do now, and your clients.
Man, I coach. I tell everybody I change lives for a living.
When did you start this?
I got home from prison. I worked my ass off for a whole year, put myself in school, then I got my 2-year degree and opened a gym by 2010.
Yeah. And so you've been training people and you've been helping them with their nutrition.
Correct.
And everything
So I do everything from diet to fitness to fight. And just, man, as a coach, the hugest reward for me is just seeing light bulbs start popping off in people. They're like, oh shit, that's how that's supposed to feel. Like, and watching their confidence, because I know I'm bright. Every time I break up any threshold to a room, I'm bright. But I want everybody around me to be just as bright or brighter.
Yeah.
You know? And so, man, fitness is a mentality. You know what I'm saying? It has to be like a lifestyle, like part of your life. Like every day, no matter how much I accomplish in my day, if I don't get into the gym, I feel like I've done nothing. You know, and like people try to tell me you're addicted. I was like, dude, I've had other worse addictions, you know? Like, so this is a pretty healthy addiction.
Yeah.
If this is an addiction, I fucking love it because I can't live without it.
Yeah, same here.
You know, and like, you don't have, when I walk into a room, I don't need anybody to pat me on the back, because I know that through the effort that I made in my life that day, that I'm badass. You know, if it was easy, everybody would be badass.
Can like walk us through like a daily workout? What's your routine?
So right now I'm like freelance coaching, so I work out with every client.
I do the same thing. Yeah,
I work out with every single.
I tried
client.
to.
Yeah. So I don't remember the last time I just coached somebody and didn't work out with them. I go through every single workout.
What does one of your typical workouts look like?
I start every workout with like 10, 15 minutes of straight core, like 200 lunges. And
you do the core first.
Core first.
All right.
You know, because I want my trunk to be prepared, because I'm about to be carrying loads. I'm going to be pushing loads, you know, everything. So your trunk is to me is the most. It has to be warmed up even before your limbs. You know, because that's carrying all the load. You know, your load's right there.
How many clients do you see on like a weekly basis?
About 3 a day. I'm not trying to do too much.
And you're working out with all 3 of them.
I'm not trying to do too much. People call me every day to train, but I'm like, I don't want. I've done that, you know. Like if I was rich, I would do it for 15 hours a day for free. But I just have so many other things I need to focus on in life right now that I do that for pleasure.
Yeah.
I coach people because I just love it. You know, I have all the other things that are like bringing my life together right now. But I do this because that's my, you know, because like for the first 3 years we were on the road with my son, and, you know, I had disconnected with who I am. So we all rotate on a thin axle, you know, and yeah, I'm working out and doing this and that, but it was all at the bare minimum. And I really needed to come home and really recenter. Yeah. You know, because my center is giving and helping. And, you know, my purpose is to build leadership, you know, like show people how to just be in control of their mind, their selves. Because like, you know, it's heartbreaking to see how many motherfuckers walk around the earth just very mediocre and are completely content with that as life. Yeah. Like you only have one shot at this life. Why would you allow yourself to be mediocre? You know, they make excuses for everything, bro. Fucking excuses, man, make my skin crawl like the fingernails on a chalkboard. You know, like I'm like, bro, you know, where's your integrity? Where's your dignity and who you are as a man? You know, as a human being.
Yeah.
You know, like most of these women in the gym are out working a lot of these fucking dudes, bro. And it's fucked
I'm starting
up.
to see that too. Yeah.
And all these, I mean, their mentality is like, ah.
Yeah.
And these dudes are like, ugh. On their phone. I'm like, bro, can I work in with you?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, man, I'm like, hey, dude, I worked in with this one guy the other day, and I was like, bro, because he literally was doing a sit around for 3-4 minutes. Do it. I'm like, I'm not even going to change your weight. I'm just going to add this moment of what you're doing into everything else I'm doing. He's like rolled his eyes at me. I'm like, just move, dude.
Yeah, some people I work with, or work out, I train, you know, they'll sit there and they'll complain they're not getting the results that they want. And I go, the results that you're looking for are in the time that I'm telling you to hurry up, and you're not listening to me. Like, you're doing the bare minimum. You're quitting early before the time is up. Like, the results you're looking for are in that time that you're stopping, and you're quitting on me. And it's like, I try to tell that to them as nicely as possible.
Well, I'm raw with my clients. I'm like, bro, imagine that you just got home from a 12-hour shift of work. You're exhausted. You're sitting on your couch. Your pistol's in your room, and you're in the living room. And your wife and kid are in the kitchen, which access the front door that I just fucking kicked open. What energy are you going to do to stop me?
Yeah.
That's the energy I need right now. I need that now.
I like that one.
And or you're dead.
Yeah.
Or you're dead. What are you going to fucking do? Because you know what? At the end of the day, bro, like, man, I tell everybody, tough guys get beat up, man. Be brilliant, but you better be able to defend yourself. You know, I think it's valid. Like, every man and woman should be able to have a comfort level of knowing they can manage handling themselves up to a certain point. You know, there's, just women just are not going to be able to compete with a physical man. You know, but at least have a fighting shot for yourself. You know, have some type of confidence. You know, and the only thing, like, what's life all about? Evolution, right? And if we're not living in progression, the human body immediately goes into regression. I mean, stop reading for a week. I mean, then try to pick up reading again. You're like, you fumble over the words. Don't get out of bed for 2 days, and then get up. You're moving around like you're broken. You know, like, the body wants to live in evolution. So keep pressure on yourself emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and especially physically. You know, and that's going to be your balance, bro. That's what's going to that's what keeps me young. Everybody's like, you have Botox. And no, I just fucking, and I party like a motherfucker, you know? Like, I do what I want to do. Yeah. But I bust my ass every single day.
Exactly. You can do you can live however you want to live because you're fucking paying that pound of flesh every day in the gym. And that's what I try to tell people. Everybody's like, well, what are you eating? What are you doing? I do whatever the fuck I want. Because I fucking bust my ass in the gym.
That's right.
It doesn't matter what I do because I know how much effort I got to put into the gym to go back to the shape that I want. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? So
it's all in the effort. You know what I tell everybody, bro? Because a gym is an intimidating place for a human being to walk into.
That's a great point.
Especially if they haven't been ever or a long time or even months, right? Like, I remember I bought my dad for his birthday a whole year gym membership. I was like, Dad, fucking a whole year and you never use it once? He's like, man, son, I didn't want to go in there and be the weakest guy. I was like, well, you know what? You're even weaker this year.
Yeah, good point.
You know?
But what they don't understand is nobody gives a fuck.
Nobody cares because everybody there is serving their own purpose.
Yeah.
That's my sanctuary, bro.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
The gym is for me, fitness, training, coaching, that shit saved my life. Just like music saved my son's life. Without it, we ain't shit. Without, and I tell everybody, if you want to be successful, just find something you love and just fucking work your ass off at it and have fun. If you're not going to have fun, then why are you doing it?
Yeah.
You know, everything you should do everything I do in my life is for self-gratification, not public. You know, I've never been the guy that I don't want people to pat me on the back. I mean, let's figure out why we're not patting you on the back.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather be that person like trying to live in somebody and everybody else's solution, bro. You know?
I'm starting to see where your son got everything he needed to become a fucking world-class rapper.
Bro, I've spoke life into this since forever, bro.
Yeah. I'm starting to see the mentorship. Everything comes from mentorship. Everybody who's ever done anything great, there was somebody in their life that was like,
bro, you know,
saying certain things that resonated.
The coolest thing about being a dad, and especially his dad, is, you know, hearing my son like just using my vocabulary, using my, you know, and that means he was actually listening.
Yeah.
Because for a long time I was like, damn, I'm like, fuck, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I was like, shit.
Wait, when did he get the mullet haircut? Is what I'm
dude, ever since he was, I keep my shit tight, right? I'm in the barbershop 2-3 times.
I know, I was gonna say, you guys are,
bro. So ever since he was a kid, he wanted his head nappy. He liked it.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't want a haircut. You know, I'm like, well, fuck. All right, well, fuck it then. Save me fucking the $40. Hey, but he just always had his own swag, bro. You know, he's you know, over half a decade I'm away from him in prison. I come home and I'm like, God damn, this dude is exactly like me. Like to a T, he's exactly his mannerism, his just everything about him is. I would sit back and laugh because I'm like, God damn. Even the shit that, like, what bothers me about him is me. So I don't even say shit. I'm like, fuck it, you got away with it. But the same vice versa. What bothers him about me, we're exactly the same.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, there's never no perfect relationships. But man, like me and my son, we can be in a room full of 10,000 people and enter the room and 2 different parts, and we'll find each other immediately to give each other a hug, to each other we love each other. And man, because that's one thing I always wanted, you know, because coming home from prison, man, I didn't ever want my son to hear all the stories about the bad shit I did, you know. Of course, people tell him, and then, you know, like, and I'll find out later, yeah, of course, he's trying, you know, you know, for me, I found out my dad was a badass, so I had to be even more badass than him, you know.
Right.
And
so you were worried he might try to follow and try.
Oh, he absolutely. Like I remember one time he was fucking up and he got kicked out of school, and I was like, all right, you know what you're getting prepared for? Prison. So I made him do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I made him live in the bathroom. I gave him a pillow, blanket, and a book. Fed him 3 meals a day, and my ex would slide him little notes under the door and shit, like at mail call, like 6 p.m.
No fucking way.
You know? And I made him do it. And I remember I'd go in there and look at him, and he'd be in there big chilling, just reading. And I was thinking, man, I was like, is this motherfucker even learning anything? And about 2-3 years ago, he was like, Dad, you remember that time you made me do that weekend in jail or in the bathroom? I was like, yeah. I was like, did you even? He's like, man, I knew that first night that I never want to get in trouble. I was like, why? He's like, because I didn't have my bed no more.
Damn.
I mean, I slept on a steel bunk for fucking over half a decade. No mattress. I never wanted to be comfortable. I slept on my back like this. So you could be quick, you know. Like every morning at 3 a.m., they roll them doors to go to chow. I'd sit up, go sit on the toilet, because you never know if anybody's going to run in on you, what.
Did like, you have a roommate?
You always, the only time I didn't have a celly, you mean a celly?
Celly.
Hey, one of my best friends, shout out to Jeff Benson, man. He was 25 years Special Forces, Air Force. This dude can hold his breath almost 8 minutes.
He was your celly?
No, he was my best friend, but we lived together. And I was like, bro, you would have been a good celly. He was like, you would have been a good bunkie.
Yeah. Shout out to Jeff.
Yeah, he's a G, bro. Like people would always say, how many bodies you got? He was like, man, I got over 400 in one mission.
Yeah. What did he do?
And drone shit.
He was a drone pilot?
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys meet?
Training. Yeah, so we started doing jiu-jitsu and shit together, started training.
How long you been training jiu-jitsu?
About 19 years.
Holy fuck. Yeah. What are you?
No, I've never trained a gi ever.
Belted up? No.
But I do every color.
Yeah.
I get my ass kicked. Jiu-jitsu's my weakest.
Me too, dude.
Bro, it's always the skinny guy fucking you up, bro. I'm like,
always. This is terrifying.
Get him off of me.
No, it's terrifying because you go in there
because when your hamstring just when it's gone, like you're fucked,
dude.
like,
it's my shoulders. My shoulders are the worst.
Look at my hands, bro. Like, bro, I was training with a guy in gi. He had gi. I stood up. He's like, look at your hand. My fucking fingers twisted. I was like, God damn. He got locked up in his shit.
Jiu-jitsu is the most humbling sport because the bigger and more muscular you are a victim. Nobody wants to roll with you because you're so big, but you're inevitably going to get partnered up with some skinny, bony, like,
dude, and everything, like all of his joints are fucking
and raggedy hair. He looks like he just rolled out like a college kid, and you're like, those are the guys I'm terrified of because, like, we have like these muscles are pillows.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm going to choke somebody with my arms, this is a pillow. This is a pillow I'm putting between my bone and their neck. Skinny guys, when they choke you, it's bone going into your throat.
Yeah.
You can't breathe. Like it's the most painful thing. Like, so I hate skinny guys that know how to do
literally.
Jiu-jitsu.
So you know, because I started training and like I remember the tough man competitions and all that shit in the 90s. Like, bro, they were just at bars, smoker fights, everything, you know, and like, so it was my discipline against your discipline. So I was traditional boxer first, and then I remember a Muay Thai guy just demolished me, bro. Like every time I went to go in, he's checking me. Yeah. Bro, just beat me the fuck up.
That's
beat me up, bro.
Are you keeping up with this whole Liver King?
Yeah, what's going on?
You didn't hear what happened with Liver King the last day or two? So this guy lost his mind. You know what Liver King is.
I thought he was dead. Thought he like fucking steroid OD'd.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I'm not on steroids.
So the whole situation with Liver King is basically Liver King used to, I mean, he's jacked, he's shredded, massive.
He looks good.
Yeah, he looks great. Well, he used to look better, but anyway, so he used to claim back in the day that he didn't take any roids. It was all from the meat, the raw meat he was eating. That's why he got the name.
There's no meat that good.
Liver King, exactly. No. Well, you know, Joe used to call him out. Joe Rogan used to call him out and be like, that's not from meat. That's from something else, you know. But he never really dove too much into it. Well, Joe had a guest on, right? Derek Moore plays and basically exposed him, by the way. Where, you know, Liver King, Lion King, Liver King basically had sent him a message saying, hey, yeah, I actually, you know, he's on the juice.
I'm on test.
He's on the juice.
He's probably
so he got exposed, and then ever since then, the crazy thing is the dude didn't lose his following, like, because the whole world knew he was already on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everybody on juice was already. They were like, okay, what?
We know you're lying, dude, but you're a specimen, and you got this whole barbarian thing and whatever it is.
He should have just came clean.
Exactly. So fast forward, you know, what was it? That was like a year ago or whatever. I don't know what happened between then and now, but he snapped. He snapped to the point where he's going on Instagram, on his Instagram with 3 million followers, and he's posting videos. This is the last 24 hours, 36 hours. He started posting videos where he's like, I'm going to go to Austin and I'm going to kill Joe Rogan. Literally saying, I'm going to murder Joe Rogan. Okay? He posted multiple videos, and he drove with his family and his dogs down to Austin yesterday. Gets to Austin, and he starts posting more videos saying he's going to kill Joe Rogan, and this is the whole process. He's doing this for his family and all this shit like this, right? And so, well, obviously, if you make
this guy needs a hug.
If you make threats like this, and his eyes he looks weird. The shit he's saying is incoherent.
What is he on?
I don't know.
It got to be trend.
It's a lot of stuff. I don't know. Whatever it is. So he's posting these crazy videos. His face is scarred. He's got scratched up, blood. Like, he looks awful. And he's down here. And now he's in Austin. And he's still making threats. So naturally, he gets wrapped up. Yeah. The police arrested him.
That's a fucking terroristic threat.
Exactly. So they arrested him yesterday. And he's been sitting in jail. And I'm not sure what happened to him. But like, the dude's got problems. He's going through a lot of different things.
Probably gonna send him to like a mental hospital.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, he needs
at least
help.
to get him off of whatever he's on, to get him sober long enough or rational. Because you know what? Like when I went to prison in 01, Trent had a big influence at Trent and cocaine. I was yoked up, fucking insane. And I was just like, dude, I was literally counting millions, like fucking, you're just on a different level and you're like, your mentality, I felt unstoppable.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the crazy thing to me is he was with his family. So he's with his wife.
That's insane.
And his kids and his security team. And nobody stopped him. Nobody thought, hey, he's making threats to kill somebody. Maybe we should call the cops.
Even his security team was like rolling with this?
Security team. And that's what that's what's weird to me. Like, to me, it feels like a publicity stunt that was planned.
I mean, it has to be
because it's just a misdemeanor.
Yeah, but
it's a misdemeanor to make threats like that.
That's crazy though, because what if people actually act on that?
Exactly. Well, I mean, you have to take it as that because it could turn into that.
Joe shoots straight.
Yeah, he never responded, and he shouldn't have.
Like, why would a king argue with the pawn?
But here's the thing: back to the the topic on jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. This guy had no chance.
No,
and maybe in his whatever drug-fueled mind, he thinks that he did because he's a big guy.
Big guys always think that, though.
But on the mats, you're nothing. Like, you're a fish out of water. I'm jacked, dude. I go into the jiu-jitsu gym and I'm like one of the biggest, most muscular guys there. Yeah. I get destroyed by guys that weigh 145 pounds. Yep. And there's nothing I can do. It's not like, I'll just over muscle them or overpower them. That works until your muscles and your lungs run out of oxygen. You have about 45 seconds before you're like nothing. And then this little 150 pound soaking wet kid is like, you're a rag doll and you're a fish out of water and he's torturing you. And you have no choice. You tap or you go to sleep.
Yeah.
So
talk about, did I win? Did I win?
No, they're lifting your feet up going, are you okay? It's okay. It's you're in, and it's like, So when I see people make threats like that, it's like you're roided out, you're out of your fucking mind, and you're making threats against somebody who's a black belt. Listen, do yourself a favor. And his security team should have fucking warned him and been like, dude, bro, you can't don't pick this fight. You don't want this. Like, you should know better than this. Come on.
Man, that's pretty wild. Yeah, it has to be a publicity stunt.
But what an awful publicity stunt. He's got 3 million of his own followers. And why would you call out the one guy that has 20 million followers?
Maybe to try to get the celebrity boxing match or some crazy shit like that. Maybe that might be the next ploy.
When has that ever gone good for anybody though? Gary Busey. Didn't they have, wasn't he on?
Did you just see the one with, what's the little black guy's name? And Charleston White and the Island Boy. Oh, I'm like, oh my God. Oh God.
Oh, tell me what you think about the Island Boys.
Oh, bro. Where you suck it.
Yeah.
Bro,
how would they have done in prison?
Oh, they would have been victims, bro. Yeah, bro. A lot of these kids, I mean, they're
been victims.
Yeah. Literally victims. Like, and you know what? What's so crazy?
That's such a scary comment.
They're not even raping these guys anymore. They're literally just talking them out of it now. Like, and they're just like, bro, it's really mind blowing to see how weak the mentality of man is today. Like
it's different.
Like, dude, when you hear a fucking man talking about, hey, my anxiety, like, bro.
It's different. It's a different time.
But you know what, man? Like, I get it. Everybody has different form. Everybody has PTSD. Every adult trauma stems from childhood shit, right? So, like, I remember coming home from prison. I go through therapy, and I was doing a bunch of energy work, tapping.
Was that tapping?
Yeah, tapping. Where
what is that?
You're reciting your mantra, speaking life into thing, and you're just tapping, opening up you're opening.
Where'd you learn that?
I have from my psychiatrist. Yeah. And she would do energy work on me and do tapping with me.
Does that work? I've never tried it.
I think it did. There was a lot of things that I didn't even like. I had suppressed. I had suppressed shit that had went on me when I was a child, and then it also gave me clarity of who I am sexually as a man. Like my desires and those different things like that. It's helped me just understand who I am as an individual through all of my traumas. And I think trauma is beautiful, man. Like I appreciate, like I would never forgive me. I would never want to do life over and go through all this shit again. Like, no, I'm good. Like I'm completely content where I am emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. Like I'm content because I put the effort into my recovery, I've always, one thing I'll applaud the TDCJ for is they put me in this class called cognitive intervention. And they really teach you.
What is JCC?
Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
Okay.
TDC.
TDC. Okay.
But now it's TDCJ.
Okay.
I remember this class, it just really inspired thought, and I've always been, that's why I've always been like a huge fan of Joe. I just appreciate people who inspire thought.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to inspire thought for my son, so I would always ask open-ended questions. And, the human mind had always been so fascinating for me. I remember when I first graduated, that's what I wanted to go to school for. So when I played ball, I just realized it was too much fucking school.
You wanted to go to school for what, psychology?
Yeah, because I've always been fascinated by the human mind. So I did, in prison, bro, I read everything that I could get my hands on. I remember for the first 3 years, I was just, all the books that were being sent to me, it was just wait.
I was going to ask you, how many books do you think you read in 7 years?
Bro, I'd read a 700-800 page book in like 3 days.
Damn.
I was just burning through them. I mean, especially in SEG. So, I'd wake up at 3 a.m. I'd work out all the way straight to 9 a.m. Then I'd bird bath, clean my cell, then start reading, meditating, praying.
What does that mean, to bird bath? Like in your sink, in your cell?
You just bathe right out of your sink.
Okay.
Yeah, because they only showered you 3 days a week in SEG. And they just would roll a thing in front of your house like a hose, and it just sprays in and you shower, because you never could leave. Like anywhere I go, I'd have to be handcuffed. When I went to visit, they put me in a little glass house, and I would visit my family through a box that I was in.
I was gonna ask. Even so, your son, you were
we got pictures of him. Yeah, we got pictures of us that would come and take the Kodak pictures you could take with your family, because back there was, again, cell phones weren't.
And how many hours a week did you get with your family?
I would get 2 hours, in SEG, I could only get 2 visits a month, so I got 4 hours a month.
4 hours a month.
And they would have to drive, at that time, because I was in Cofield over there in Palestine, Texas. And that was probably a 5-6 hour drive for them. I remember my grandmother, she was so gangster, man. She would wake my mom up early in the morning and saying, we're gonna go see him, let's go. They would be excited to come see me, man. And so for 2 hours out of your life, you're away from just hell. It's fucking, that place it was
4 hours a month.
Yeah.
To see your family.
Yeah.
Damn.
Bro, nothing about Texas judicial system is for recovery. It's a setup to return. Your job security. Prisoners in Texas today are the new cattle. You don't even talk about cattle. Texas isn't even known for cattle anymore. They're known for their prisons.
Yeah.
It's a longer shelf life. You get more time out of them.
If you could change anything with it, what would you change? If you could sit on the top of some board and make recommendations that they would follow, what would you recommend?
That's a tough one, bro, because there's pros and cons to everything. Man,
Yeah.
give me a second.
Yeah, no, we'll come back to it.
Because I want to answer that, but I'm trying to see what I honestly think would be, a good answer for that, because there's so many things that need to be fixed, and it's just so fucked up.
I know.
It's so fucked up.
And you know it from both sides.
You wouldn't even know where to begin.
And you know it from both sides.
And it's so, because everybody thinks it's so black and white, but it's all gray. Like, how do you think the prisoners get their shit? From the prison guards. If they're only making like $25,000 a year, I mean, I used to give a guard $1,000 I'll be straight up. At that time, I was giving my guard, I'd give her 3 pounds of weed, told her to keep 2, give me 1. And then I'd get blue packs of bugler, so they're probably 100 packs at a time, and they'd go in there and lift their little bra up and drop it in, and I'd have everything compressed, and you just break it down. They bring me boxes of sweets. So what I would do is roll up a bunch of blunts, light it and pass it, light it and pass it, light it. So as long as everybody's dirty, who's gonna tell? And I told everybody, I'm not a drug dealer. I'll give this shit away. But then I would delegate. I would give like different. They were like, you can't hustle. You solo. I was like, hustle? Gonna be a reason why you got something. Because I'm gonna catch a bitch everywhere, and like people love me, bro. Like the first 3 years of prison, I wasn't learning any lessons. I was still on survival. How am I gonna make this work? Type shit, and I still, you're still really contemplating like what you're gonna do, because, bro, when you get to there, you're green.
Yeah,
I've been a schoolboy and an athlete my whole life.
You're getting out. You got out. What year was it again?
08. And man, all I ever wanted to be was an example that healing is possible and retribution is there for my son.
That's what I was gonna ask you. So you get out. This is life you've been living in and out.
No, it was. I had never. The longest period of time I've ever been locked up before I went to prison was like 4 months. And I remember 4 months, I was like, oh man, I'm a G. I was like, I thought that was forever. And then when you go to prison, you're like, day one, you're like, what the fuck? Where am I? What the fuck?
What is that? What is that moment like?
Oh my God. You're just like, it's a sinking feeling. And you're just like, bro, this is fucking for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is fucking for real. And then you hear those, the steel doors opening and closing, and just like, man, it's making my heart race right now to think about it.
Yeah. So you get out, and your son's starting to tour, making music videos. Let's start there. I want to know what it's like. So you go on a road with him?
Yeah. So you know what? His first tour, no, it was literally just him and his homeboy and his old manager at that time. And a year later, everybody's coming out to, because that's when Johnny Dang had just dropped. So Johnny Dang was like when my son just went, like I could, like everything was just coming together. But for me, he was always a star. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like always.
He's got such a unique, I mean, everything. Like his voice.
Yeah. I mean, and bro, ever since he was a kid, he's been a gentleman, bro. He'd wake up, open the doors and say, ladies always go first, since 3-4 years old. And he wanted to be, and I don't take full credit because, a village raises your kids. And like my entire family has a culture of respect. When you come in the house, you take your hat off. When you greet a man, you stand up and you shake his hand, you look him in the eyes, and, very Southern country values and complete respect.
Well, I mean, even at his age, he's got an aura. He's got an energy about him, almost like a Post Malone type.
And Post is a super cool guy, man. And shout out Post Malone. But being able to just sit and interact with him, both of them, I see, even Jelly Roll,
Yeah.
I see that they're just normal, just very normal people. Like they don't get off to the being a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
They get off to their craft.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Like, dude, my son, like he says, he could be a crackhead and he would still do music every day because he don't know anything else to do.
Yeah.
Like, I would have to ground him from doing music, like his swag, and like I'd bust his ass and like nothing helped. It was like, all right, I'll take it, But I don't know. I just always wanted to. I'll talk in circles now.
No, it's all good. Like, I'm trying to picture you on the road with him and his crew.
Dude, it was like I remember
after the life you've lived, and now you're on the road. And he's stepping out on stage, and there's
you know what, son? Like,
thousands of people screaming.
I feel like I had prepared my whole life for this.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain that. Everything natural. Just feels so natural when I'm on stage and I see because to me the coolest part of everything is seeing the fans go word for word with his music.
Yeah,
that's so fascinating for me.
And his lyrics, he writes all this.
He ever since he used to write 100-bar songs for me every day just to do it.
So he just has always been writing.
Always. Like when he's supposed to be reading or doing math, he's writing music.
And how does that go? Because I mean, how many kids are going to listen to this podcast and they're like, I like to rhyme, I like to write music, but like going from the point of writing a poem, really a song is just a poem, right? Or it's a poem, it rhymes, and going from the point of making a poem and then placing lyrics and actually singing it and then placing instrumentals on top of it. Like, can you explain that process for any of us that don't understand it?
I'm not musically inclined at all. When I was in prison, I used to draw and write poetry. But that's why it's always been so fascinating. I used to be riding around hitting licks, and I'd have my son with me, and he would just be rapping over other rappers, and all I ever listened to was Ghetto Boys. Like, so 4 or 5 minute songs. So he'd be freestyling for 4 or 5 minutes straight.
That freak you out?
No, it was normal.
Yeah. But I mean, like to hear your kid just start freestyling and going for that long.
I didn't ever want to be the guy that bragged about his kid because, every parent brags about their kid, right? I didn't want to be that guy. So I'm like, just put any beat on. Country, jazz, I don't give a fuck what you put on and watch what happens.
That.
He'll close his eyes. I'll point shit. I'll be like, son, look, you point shit out. And he'll be like.
And it just naturally came to him. He'll close his eyes.
He'll be like, all right, I'm ready, Daddy. Go. Every single time. To this day.
And was he always mixing like Spanish and English?
So my grandparents come from Mexico. My grandmother and grandfather knew very little English, but we communicated well. I don't speak very good Spanish, but I know enough Spanish to keep me alive, especially going through prison. You need to know. Prison, you learn how to read lips and everything. But my family, like my parents used Spanish as the language when they argued and didn't want us to know they were arguing. We're like, we know y'all are fucking arguing. But, so we never learned it like that. My son, he knows about as much as I do to get by.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't, it's just, we're from Texas, man. Like everybody knows English. Everybody, it's like Spanglish here anyway. So the Spanish we do speak is very, I guess, urban.
Yeah.
But yeah, he knows enough. But dude, he's just always been talented with it. Like, at family events, he'd always have all the kids over there in front of him doing this shit. He'd be like, all of them would be sitting there, and then everybody thinks they can rap. I remember for about a year, he's like, Dad, I don't even want to be a rapper no more because everybody says they're going to be a rapper. I was like, man, shut the fuck up and hit this beat. Yeah. But he fucking, man, he's just really like, because you grow up with your kid, you know who they are, right? And then there's that small space of separation, and then you come back together. And like I've been able to literally witness my son evolve into a real young man, a real man, you know, like learn and adapt, because everything he's going through is none of this. No, there's no blueprints in anybody's life. Everything is a freestyle, you know, and you know, it's been really cool just to be able to witness his evolution as a human being.
Yeah, and he's going to go through a lot of trials and tribulations.
Oh, it's
just starting.
It's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning.
Shit, you know, I tell him all the time. I was like, son, remember you were just an egg yesterday.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
We're gonna have
just hatched.
We're gonna have to do another podcast in like 10 years, and in 20 years.
Let's do it. We'll run it anytime, bro.
Hopefully, we do it more often than that.
Yeah.
If you could give him any advice based off of your long life of this journey you've had, and you know, I mean, all the ups, all the downs, what would it be?
Man, give more than you take, and love like today is always the last day. You know, because in an instant it could be gone. You know, you might not have tomorrow to do what you thought you needed to do today. You dig, and you never did it. So like, man, just give more than you take, and just love passionately with everything. Be passionate about everything.
That's fucking beautiful. Dude, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. Everything that's been happening, like the life you've lived. I'm so glad we became friends.
I love you, bro.
For real. Like
Yes,
straight up.
We need to really get in there and fucking train, bro. You're sturdy as fuck. I want to see what you could do.
Dude, I'm tired. I fucking worked out. So like, you know, I was in the Navy. I did the team, but I haven't worked out with the fellow frogman in a while. And my last guest, he came on Monday. His name's Liam Cogan. His episode drops on Friday.
Okay.
And dude, I haven't worked out with the frogman in a while. He's 10 years younger than me. And I was like, fuck, I forgot about this. Like, he's just a monster. He's just a beast.
Like a machine, bro.
Yeah.
That's how it was when I got home at 33. I was still a machine. You know, my mentality was already there for like, remember, because I always take pride in never missing not one practice, bro. I don't ever remember. I don't remember not one practice for baseball, football, boxing, anything. And I wasn't the best athlete.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I fucking had to work because, bro, it was only me and one other guy with 2 Mexicans on the team, all black, couple white guys. So we fucking, and like, bro, all my best friends, I remember my homeboy Black T, R.I.P., Darren Taylor. He would pray, say a prayer, man, please, Lord, give me the strength of 8 broadback slaves. You know, because when we were growing up, it was still racist. You know, it's not racist anymore, bro. Like, it's not like racism is like, there's prejudice, you know, because I'm prejudiced to stupidity, you know, for like, there's stupidity in every nationality, you know. Just don't be dumb, you know? And be considerate, you know, like, just be considerate, bro. Like, you know, I was getting off a plane the other day and all these people were always in a rush to get out and they're running on. I'm like, dude, like, just relax, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what are you in such a rush for? You know, like, just, I don't know. I just, you know, I don't take anything for granted anymore. You know, when you lost so much, you know, I've lost everything, bro. Literally every fucking thing. That's why, like, you know, I tell everybody, it's never the end of the world. So one of my mantras is, what's life's number one rule? Never fucking panic. What happens when you panic? Your heart flutters. What does your heart push? Blood. What does blood carry? Oxygen. What does the brain need to operate properly? Oxygen. So just relax. Just relax. Bro, I've been under life and death situations, and just relax, bro.
Yeah.
Because if it happens, it fucking happens.
Well, dude, I can see exactly how he got all the inspiration he needed to take the world by storm. And I can't even imagine what you've been through and what's going to happen with him at this early stage.
It's just the beginning.
just the beginning.
And bro, he hasn't even found himself yet. So he's really just playing.
That's what I'm saying. He's
bro,
a kid.
I mean, you know, when they were like comparing him to Kevin Gates and the Baby and these different artists, I was like, you know what? All these artists are great, and I'm huge fans of them. But my son is just too versatile.
He's unique. He's himself, but he's also you, and everything you've been through, and his trips to the prison to go visit his dad, right? Like rodeos, right? That was a side to him I didn't know, but you could tell he was comfortable in there. Yeah. He was really comfortable, you know. And he's playing with these bulls, and he gets flipped by a bull, and he gets up and he's laughing, and even the rodeo clowns were looking at him like,
"Are you all right?"
Bro, you make more than everybody here combined times 10. Doing this? Stop, you know, like, and he's like, but I love that. I love that. That's like him, like showing his childhood. He's still a kid, bro, and he's not scared of shit.
So his new album drops in August, right? So
what is it?
He's dropping his Recess album August 27th. That Mexican O.T. August 22nd. Forgive me. And this is like the world can't deny him after this.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Can I get an early copy?
Yeah, I got you. I I don't have the copy, but I got you.
All right, man.
Yeah, but he, man, bro, he's a genius, bro. Like he used to piss me off because I remember he came home with a 7 in fucking math, and we do math homework every day. But again,
a 7 in math.
Yeah, I was like, motherfucker, do you know how much effort it took to make a 7 when you
got
start
one
with
question
100?
right?
I'm like, bro, but look, it was only because he never turned his homework in because he was always rapping before class.
Yeah.
So the teacher would like literally he's like he just sits here and raps to all the students all day. He don't ever want to, you know. And he wouldn't turn in his homework. He was like, fuck it, I'm fucking rapping, you know? Like,
you gotta respect that though.
Yeah, bro, growing up, it was frustrating, but he was so good. I was like, fuck it, come on, let's go. You know, like I remember, because I would always have after parties coming home from like the strip club and shit. And I'd have a bunch of I trained a bunch of the girls, so they'd all be hanging out at the house, and you know, somebody, and these guys would show up that already had like records with like, you know, artists, you know. And so they would come and start freestyling. And I'd be like, oh, you think you can rap? Watch this. And I'd be like, son. And I'm like, son, get up. He's like, what, Dad? He's like, I got school in the morning. I'm like, fuck school, man. See, you don't give a fuck about school. Come on, let's go. And he's like, all right, come on. And I'm like, you ready to beat ass? He's like, come on, Dad, let's go. And bro, he'd be walking down the stairs, literally like wiping like this, and then and just be like, and just fuck him up, bro. And he'd fuck him up so bad, like some of the dudes would just get like want to fight him. I was like, son, say whatever the fuck you want to say, because if he lifts her hands up, this whole kitchen is gonna stomp a hole in this motherfucker. Damn. Say what you want to say. You know, he would verbally assassinate these guys. And I was
so like a roast, but rap.
Bro, yes. And the way that he articulates every day. All the music you hear is just him articulating everyday life.
That's insane. Like it's a completely different mind. Like I can't even comprehend.
Okay, hear this. So imagine hearing a song, right? And you're singing the words to the song, and he's making other content over that. That's what would fascinate me. I was like, I can't stop singing this shit, and you're being creative.
So he can like disconnect. He can separate the words and the lyrics, and bro, it's just.
So the way he does music, so you'll get a beat, and then he'll get a rhythm in that beat, and then in the rhythm he catches, he just fills those pockets with words. And like ever since he was little, he's like, you don't hear that, Dad? You, and like he would break beats down. He was like, he could tell me each instrument in a beat, and he just had the ear for it. It's just God given, you know. Like I told you earlier that they had spoke life over me when I was a kid and spoke all this. Well, my blessing has absolutely been passed on to my son.
Damn. Well, he's doing a damn good job with that torch.
And again, man, none of it surprises me, bro.
Yeah.
When we're standing there, when I see the fans, when I see them reacting, it just seems so normal.
How does he take that with all the fans?
Dude,
that's got to be weird.
People don't realize how introverted my son is, right? He's super introverted. But he loves his fans. Like that's what he does it for. He does it because he loves he loves his craft. So when people appreciate his craft, he's like, I love you. This is what I do it for. I do it for that reaction. And that's what he does it for. Like making money is just a perk to him because he would do it still broke.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, he was getting robbed for the first 3 years of his career and didn't even care.
Does he still
knew it?
Does he still hook up some of the family and friends, the quinceañeras? And
Bro, he hooks up strangers. If he likes you and he fucks with your energy, he's gonna bless you.
Will he come to my wedding? I'm probably gonna get married in the near future.
That's a bet. Send the invite. Yeah, send an invite.
I'll take it. Just tell him not to roast me.
Yeah,
I don't want to get jumped by the kitchen.
Yeah, no, man, he's a really good kid, bro. Ever since he was young, man, his heart was huge.
Wow. And he's a direct descendant of fucking Geronimo.
He is.
How about that?
Bro,
He better make a song about Geronimo. He's got
that's
to.
a must. Like I haven't even I don't even think he realizes because I don't know if he understands like the magnitude of like how heavy that is.
He's too young.
You know?
Yeah, he's young. He's still young.
But
he's smart.
Like,
Maybe
bro, I mean, and when you think about cultures and like, bro, it's super flex. But now I understand like where my energy comes from and like where my warrior spirit, because I've always been, ever since I was young, I just wanted to be a hero, bro. I just want to be a hero. I never wanted, like, I'm a complete outlaw, but I've never been a villain. You dig? Like, I will fuck you up, but it's only for a greater purpose.
Right.
Not because, like, I don't want to bash anybody, but there's people that just deserve it, bro. Because, the entitlement of people, like that, like with my son. So, I Hate Being Famous. It's going to be the intro in his new album. It's called I Hate Being Famous. And just the way he articulates everyday life in this song, and just really, because he really pours his heart into his music. If people really just listen to what he's talking about, it's really full of content. It's not just words that sound good together. Yeah. He's really a good storyteller. And ever since he was young, I'm like, son, I want to be able to visualize what you're giving me here. So really, you guys are welcome because he's catered to my desire of what I wanted to hear from him.
I was going to ask you actually, what have you learned about yourself since his rise to fame and everything that's happened in his world? Because I see myself and my kids every day, right?
Yeah.
Whether they're happy, they're upset, they're angry. I see little reflections of myself and stuff that I've gone through. What have you learned about yourself?
To be more patient, because I can be completely a very impatient human being. And
do you see more patience in him than you had at the
I
age?
see his impatience.
I see.
And I'm like, fuck, I taught him that.
Yeah.
On accident. You know what I'm saying? And so when I see him, just being impatient or frustrated in the way, because he's passionate. I'm super passionate. Like, people mistake my passion for aggression. I'm just fucking passionate, bro. I want you to be victorious.
Anybody could see that if they talk to you for more than 2 minutes.
I want people to live in fucking victory, bro. And it starts here. Like, fucking, like, bro, that we were laughing and talking about this the other day, and they're like, you need to write a book about how not to be a bitch, 30 days, and how to quit being a bitch in 30 days. What was the name of it? Don't be a bitch in 30 days, or 30 days away from not being a bitch.
I like that one.
Because literally, if I got to tell myself 24/7, don't you be a fucking bitch. Don't you be, when I'm under the weight, I'm like, don't you be no motherfucking bitch. Don't you be. If I got to tell myself that, some of these motherfuckers better be telling themselves, don't you be a fucking bitch. You know what I'm saying? And like, fucking, that should be at least a mantra. You know, like I think it's healthy to look in your mirror and pep talk yourself, and because find a reason to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Ever since my son was little, I'm like, son, I need you to believe in yourself so fucking much the world has no choice. Now, what are you and I gonna do today so that we can believe that motherfucker? Because if you can't believe in it, how's your wife, how your kids, how your employer, how your employees, how is anybody gonna believe that?
Damn. You better write a fucking book, Chuck. Straight up.
Got you, baby.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you for coming on.
Love you, man. I could do this shit all night.
Oh, we'll do it again.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
You know,
there's always so much stuff happening, and you're like me. You're always like chasing that next fucking idea, and I love it. Dude, I'm so glad we became best friends, and let's fucking keep crushing.
Bro, hey, you know what? I tell everybody like this: just make maximum fucking effort in your life. Who cares what's doing to the right or to the left of you? Just make maximum effort in your life to where you can go to sleep every single night and say, you know what? I did more than enough today. You know, I did. Keep pressure on yourself. I thrive under pressure. Like I will fucking procrastinate on shit, and because I love the pressure at the last minute. I don't know. I know I'm fucking insane. Everybody always bitches at me, but I get it done.
No, I get it. That's actually where I shine too.
You know, like fucking if I don't have pressure, I get bored.
Yeah, same here.
Like,
I make the most mistakes when I feel like I'm not taking it seriously.
Shit. Don't let me start because I plan. I'm not a good planner.
Yeah,
I'm a good executor.
Yeah,
you know, you got motherfuckers that spend 80 years of fucking making a plan and never executed anything.
Yeah,
I'm like, fuck a game plan. Let's just go kill some shit. You know,
you would have been good in the military.
I know it, bro. Like all of my homeboys are like, bro, because I train with all of them. Like, I really need to introduce you to my boy Jeff Vincent, bro. He's a fucking beautiful human being. He's, you know, bro. He looks like Big Papa Pump, bro. He was one of the guys. So he was SEAL Team 2. He was deployed with like Jocko Willink, Leif Babin, Chris Kyle.
Let's get him on.
Yeah,
bro.
You know what? When I leave here, I'm gonna fucking 3-way you guys and lock you guys in. He would love to talk.
Thank
to you,
you.
bro. Now this is a beautiful thing, man. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me here. It's been a treat. Fucking got me a good little buzz. I'm ready to go eat some more red meat though. Fucking hungry,
dude. You're fucking awesome on camera. Yeah. You're awesome on the mic. Like this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for coming, brother.
Thank you, baby. Yes, sir.